10 things you're wasting time on after 70 that really don't matter. As we get older, time becomes our most valuable asset. In our younger years, we often spent energy on things that, in hindsight, were unnecessary, chasing approval, worrying about the future, holding on to past regrets. But after 70, life presents an opportunity, the chance to let go of what doesn't serve us and embrace what truly brings joy. If you're in this stage of life, it's time to shift focus from what drains you to what fulfills you. Here are 10 things you might still be wasting time on and why they really don't matter anymore. Letting go of these can make your days lighter, your heart fuller, and your life richer. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. 1. Worrying about things you can't control. There was a time when worrying felt like a responsibility, like if we just thought about a problem long enough, we could somehow prevent it from happening. But after 70 years of living, one truth becomes undeniable. Worrying doesn't change a thing. It doesn't rewrite the past, it doesn't alter the future, and it certainly doesn't make today any better. And yet, so many of us still waste time lost in anxious thoughts. We worry about our health, about our children and grandchildren, about the state of the world, about money, about the what-ifs that may never even come to pass. It's as if our minds are constantly flipping through an old, tattered book of concerns, rereading the same pages of fear, regret, and uncertainty. But what has all that worrying ever really given us? Has it ever granted us more peace, more joy, more time? No. If anything, it has stolen those very things. Worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere. It drains your energy, tightens your chest, and leaves you restless in the quiet hours of the night. It keeps you from truly enjoying the moment you are in. And that, more than anything, is the greatest loss. Because if there is one thing we realize after 70, it's that the present moment is all we ever really have. So how do we let go? It starts with a simple but powerful shift: acceptance. Acceptance that life will unfold as it is meant to. That the people we love have their own paths to walk, and we cannot carry their burdens for them. That some things are simply beyond our control: illness, aging, the actions of others, the changing world. And once we accept that, something miraculous happens. We create space for peace. Imagine waking up and deciding, today, I will not waste my precious energy on what I cannot change. Today, I will choose gratitude over fear. Today, I will breathe deeply, laugh freely, and trust that whatever comes, I will handle it when it arrives. That is the gift of a life lived wisely, and that is a life worth living. 2. Holding on to past mistakes and regrets. Regret has a way of lingering, like an old song playing on repeat in the back of our minds. The words might change. I should have taken that opportunity. I wish I had been more patient. I should have told them how I felt. But the melody remains the same. It sings of things we can never go back and change, moments that slipped through our fingers, choices we wish we had made differently. And yet, what does regret truly give us? Does it bring back lost time? Does it rewrite history? No. It only keeps us tethered to a past that no longer exists. The weight of regret can be heavy, especially after 70. We have lived through so much, seen the full spectrum of human experience, love and loss, triumphs and failures, joy and sorrow. And yet, instead of honoring the wisdom that life has given us, we sometimes punish ourselves for the lessons we had to learn the hard way. But here's the truth. We did the best we could with what we knew at the time. If we had known better, we would have done better. That is the nature of being human. Holding on to past mistakes is like carrying a heavy bag of stones everywhere you go. Each one represents something you wish you could change, but the more you hold on to them, the more they weigh you down. What if instead of carrying those stones, you chose to lay them down? What if instead of punishing yourself for past choices, you chose to see them as stepping stones that led you to where you are today? Because that's exactly what they are. Every decision, even the ones you regret, brought you to this moment, and this moment is still yours to shape. The past is a teacher, not a prison. Instead of reliving old mistakes, use them as wisdom to guide you forward. If there's something left unsaid, say it. If there's an apology to be given, give it. If there's a lesson to be learned, embrace it. But do not waste another precious day looking back when life is still calling you forward. The beauty of being alive is that no matter how many pages are behind us, the next chapter is still unwritten. And you, right now, in this moment, have the power to make it a story worth telling. 3. Trying to keep up with the younger generation. There is a silent pressure that many people feel as they age, the need to keep up, to stay current with technology, to understand the ever-changing trends, to prove that they are still relevant in a world that seems to be moving faster every day. It's as if we are afraid that if we do not keep pace, we will somehow be left behind, forgotten, or seen as outdated. But here's a truth that is worth holding on to. Your value is not measured by how well you adapt to modern trends. It is measured by the wisdom, love, and experience you bring to the world. The younger generation is growing up in a time unlike any before. Their lives revolve around screens, instant communication, and a fast-moving culture. But while they may know how to navigate the latest app or speak in the language of emojis, many of them have never written a heartfelt letter, had a deep face-to-face conversation without distractions, or experienced the simple pleasure of watching a sunset without feeling the need to capture it for social media. They may have access to all the information in the world at their fingertips, but what they often lack is perspective. And that is something that only time and experience can give. So instead of trying to keep up, embrace what you have to offer. The world does not need you to be tech savvy. It needs you to be wise. Your stories, your values, your patience, your ability to truly listen, these are things that no amount of modern knowledge can replace. Think about the people who made the greatest impact on your life. Was it someone who was trendy? Or was it someone who took the time to teach, to guide, to share their wisdom? The pressure to stay modern is an illusion. You do not need to prove your relevance by changing who you are. Instead of chasing trends, stand firm in your authenticity. Share your life experiences with the younger generation, not to compete with them, but to enrich them. They may not realize it yet, but what they need most is not another person who understands the latest technology. It's someone who understands life, and that is where you shine. 4. Accumulating more stuff. For much of our lives, we believed that having more meant living better. A bigger house, a newer car, more clothes in the closet, cabinets filled with things we might need someday. It was easy to fall into the habit of collecting, of filling every space with something, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of habit, and sometimes simply because we thought that possessions equated to security. But after 70, a different truth begins to reveal itself. The more we accumulate, the heavier life becomes. Look around your home. How much of what you own truly brings you joy? How much of it do you actually use? How much of it is just taking up space, not only in your house, but also in your mind? There comes a point when our possessions no longer serve us. Instead, we serve them. We dust them, store them, organize them, worry about them. They require our energy, and as we age, energy becomes one of our most precious resources. What we once believed would make us feel secure often ends up making us feel burdened. That overflowing closet doesn't bring more style, just more decisions. Those stacks of old paperwork don't bring more order, just more clutter. And all those trinkets sitting on the shelves, they don't bring happiness, they just make cleaning harder. But here's the beautiful thing: letting go of what we don't need makes room for what truly matters. When we simplify, we create space, space to move freely, to breathe deeply, to feel light rather than weighed down. And more than that, we create space for memories, for experiences, for connection. Imagine gifting a cherished item to a loved one who will actually use it rather than letting it gather dust. Imagine walking into a room where everything has a purpose, where there is no excess, only comfort. Imagine living in a home that feels like freedom rather than a storage unit. This is At this stage of life, accumulating more is not the answer. Releasing the things that no longer serve you, releasing the weight of someday and embracing the beauty of now. Because when you let go of the unnecessary, you don't lose anything. You gain something far greater: clarity, peace, and the ability to truly enjoy the life you have built. 5. Comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a quiet thief. It sneaks into your thoughts when you least expect it, whispering that you should have done more, been more, looked better, aged differently, lived differently. It makes you look at your peers and wonder why their lives seem more exciting, their families more attentive, their health stronger. It convinces you that you are somehow falling short, even when you have lived a life full of resilience, love, and experience. But the truth is, comparison has never once brought joy. It only robs you of the ability to appreciate what is uniquely yours. The neighbor who seems to have a perfect retirement may be struggling with loneliness. The friend who looks younger than their age may be battling silent insecurities. The person traveling the world may be searching for meaning in ways you never had to. The surface of someone's life never tells the whole story. And the reality is, no one has walked the exact same path as you. At 70 or beyond, there is a simple but profound shift that can bring peace: choosing gratitude over comparison. Gratitude for the body that has carried you this far, even if it moves slower. Gratitude for the experiences you have had, even if they look different from others. Gratitude for the people in your life, even if the relationships are not perfect. The moment you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, life feels richer, fuller, and far more meaningful. Think about this. If you could go back in time and meet your younger self, would you criticize them for not being like someone else? Or would you look at them with kindness and say, "You have done well. You have survived things you thought you wouldn't. You have learned, you have loved, you have lived." That same grace should be extended to yourself today. There is no one like you. Your life is uniquely yours, shaped by the moments you've embraced, the people you've loved, and the lessons you've learned. So let go of the comparison and instead celebrate your own journey. You are exactly where you are meant to be, and that is more than enough. 6. Neglecting your own joy. For so much of life, joy was something we often placed on the back burner. There were responsibilities to take care of, children to raise, bills to pay, careers to build, homes to maintain. We told ourselves that one day, when things settled, when there was more time, when everything was just right, we would focus on our own happiness. But then life kept moving, and that someday never seemed to come. Now, after 70, many of us are finally free from the pressures that once dictated our every move. And yet, How many still hesitate when it comes to prioritizing their own joy? How many still feel like happiness is something for others but not for themselves? The truth is, we can spend so much time taking care of everyone else that we forget to ask ourselves a simple but powerful question. What makes me happy? Happiness is not a luxury. It is not something that must be earned or something that is reserved only for the young. It is a right, and it is never too late to claim it. But joy does not find us. We must choose it and intentionally every single day. It is found in the small things, the warmth of the morning sun on your face, the laughter of an old friend, the pleasure of a good book, the feeling of your hands in the soil as you tend to a garden. It is found in allowing yourself to explore, to create, to try something new without worrying about how you look or what others think. It is found in embracing life fully, without hesitation or guilt. Ask yourself, when was the last time I did something just because it made me happy? If the answer doesn't come easily, then perhaps it's time to change that. There is no rule that says joy must fade with age. In fact, it should grow stronger. You have spent decades carrying responsibilities. Now is the time to set them down and make space for yourself. Life is not meant to be merely endured. It is meant to be lived. And there is no greater gift you can give yourself in this chapter than the freedom to enjoy it. You are not too old to laugh, to explore, to dream, to feel deeply. If anything, you are finally old enough to do it without hesitation. 7. Holding grudges and resentment. There is a weight that many people carry, sometimes without even realizing it. The weight of old grudges, past betrayals, words left unspoken, and wounds that never fully healed. It sits in the heart like a heavy stone, making each step in life feel just a little harder, each moment of joy just a little dimmer. But here's something we often forget. Holding on to resentment does not punish the person who hurt us. It only punishes us. After 70 years of life, we have all been hurt in some way. A friend who disappointed us, a family member who said something cruel, a relationship that ended in pain instead of peace. We replay these moments in our minds, sometimes for years, as if clinging to them will somehow rewrite the past. But no amount of anger or resentment will ever change what has already happened. The only thing it does is steal the time we have left. Imagine carrying a bag of rocks every day, adding another stone each time someone hurt you, each time life felt unfair. With every step, that bag grows heavier. Now imagine what it would feel like to finally set it down, to release it, to walk forward with nothing weighing you down. That is what forgiveness offers, not for the sake of the person who hurt you, but for your own peace. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending something didn't happen. It does not even mean letting someone back into your life. It simply means choosing to stop carrying the pain, to say, I will not let this define me anymore. I will not let it steal my joy. Because at this stage of life, peace is more valuable than pride, and freedom is more important than being right. Ask yourself, is holding on to this grudge making my life better? If the answer is no, then it may be time to let it go. Not because the other person deserves forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. There are only so many days left to fill with love, laughter, and warmth. Don't let them be overshadowed by past hurts. Set the weight down. Walk lighter. Move forward with a heart unburdened, because you deserve to spend the rest of your life feeling free. 8. Saying yes when you want to say no. For much of our lives, we were taught that saying yes was the polite thing to do. We said yes to keep the peace, to avoid disappointing others, to be seen as kind and agreeable. We said yes to obligations we didn't want, to events we didn't enjoy, to responsibilities that drained us. And over the years, all those yeses piled up, sometimes at the expense of our own happiness, our own rest, our own peace. But after 70, it is time to embrace a simple but powerful truth. Your time is yours. It no longer belongs to obligation, guilt, or the expectations of others. If something does not bring you joy, fulfillment, or a sense of purpose, then you do not owe it your time. This is not selfish. This is not unkind. This is simply recognizing that life is too short to spend on things that do not nourish your spirit. Saying no does not mean shutting people out. It does not mean refusing to help or love those around you. It simply means setting boundaries that protect your time and energy. It means choosing where you invest the moments you have left. It means recognizing that every yes to something you do not want is a no to something that truly matters, whether it's your health, your passions, or simply the peace of a quiet afternoon spent doing exactly what you want. If saying no has always felt uncomfortable, remember this. You do not need to explain or justify your choices. A simple, kind response is enough. I appreciate the invitation, but I'm going to rest today. I'd love to help, but I have to take care of myself right now. That's not something I have time for at the moment. These words are not rejection. They are self-respect. You have spent a lifetime showing up for others. Now, it is time to show up for yourself, to give yourself the space, the rest, the freedom to live on your own terms. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the need to please. The most valuable thing you have left is your time. Spend it where it truly matters. 9. Worrying about what others think. For years, we shaped our choices around the opinions of others. We dressed a certain way to be seen as appropriate, spoke carefully to avoid judgment, and made decisions based not just on what we wanted, but on what we thought others expected. It became second nature, this constant awareness of how we were perceived, this invisible weight of approval and acceptance. But now, after 70, it is time to ask a simple question. What has all that worrying ever given you? The truth is, most people are too caught up in their own lives to be thinking about ours. And if they do have an opinion, it is fleeting, a passing thought, forgotten by the end of the day. Yet, how many moments of joy have we sacrificed over the years out of fear of what someone else might think? How many experiences have we held back from wearing a bold color, singing in public, dancing at a wedding, speaking our mind, because of a worry that in the end never truly mattered? At this stage in life, the only opinion that truly counts is your own. Your worth is not measured by someone else's approval. Your happiness does not depend on their validation. You have lived through enough to know that the people who truly care about you love you for who you are, not for how well you fit into some invisible set of expectations. And those who judge, their opinions have no power unless you give them power. So wear what makes you feel good. Say what is on your mind. Try something new, even if it makes you look a little silly. Laugh loudly. Live boldly. Let go of the fear of judgment and step fully into the freedom that comes with age, the freedom to be unapologetically yourself. Because at the end of it all, when you look back on your life, you will not remember the people who whispered behind your back or the fleeting judgments of strangers. You will remember the moments you truly lived, the times you chose joy over fear, and the times you refused to let the weight of other people's opinions hold you back. And that is what matters. Not what they think, not what they say, but how fully and fearlessly you lived. 10. Putting off your dreams. How many times in life have you told yourself, someday I'll do that. Someday I'll take that trip. Someday I'll learn to paint. Someday I'll write that book, reconnect with that friend, try that new hobby, or simply give myself permission to enjoy life without guilt, but someday has a way of slipping further and further into the future, always just out of reach. And now, after 70, it is time to ask, if not now, when? We often think of dreams as something for the young, something that belongs to those with endless time ahead of them. But the truth is, there is no age limit on joy, on passion, on adventure. You are not too old to try something new. You are not too late to create, to explore, to live with curiosity and excitement. If anything, you are finally at the point where you have the wisdom to know what truly matters, the freedom to prioritize what brings you joy, and the clarity to chase the things that make your heart feel alive. There is a dangerous lie that people tell themselves as they age. It doesn't matter anymore. But it does. You still matter. Your dreams, no matter how big or small, still matter. Whether it is as simple as waking up early to watch the sunrise with a cup of coffee, or as bold as traveling somewhere new, what matters is that you are actively choosing to experience life rather than just exist in it. What is something you have always wanted to do? What is something that has lingered in the back of your mind, waiting for the right time? The right time is now, not next year, not someday, now. At the end of life, we do not regret the things we tried. We regret the things we never had the courage to begin. So take that first step, no matter how small, because your story is not over. The best moments may still be waiting, and you owe it to yourself to find them. Final thoughts. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. Time is a curious thing. When we are young, we believe we have endless days ahead of us. We postpone happiness, waiting for the perfect moment. We chase approval, accumulate things, worry about the future, and hold on to the past. But when we reach 70 and beyond, something shifts. We begin to see time for what it truly is: finite, precious, and more valuable than anything we ever owned. So why waste even a moment of it on things that do not bring us joy, peace, or fulfillment? Why let another day slip by weighed down by regrets, obligations, or the opinions of others? Why postpone dreams, hold on to burdens, or deny ourselves the simple pleasures of life? If the past has taught us anything, it is that life is fragile. Tomorrow is never promised, but today is still ours to embrace. Now is the time to live with intention, to let go of the things that no longer serve you, the worries, the guilt, the need to meet expectations that were never truly your own. Now is the time to choose lightness over heaviness, joy over hesitation, presence over regret. It is never too late to laugh a little louder, to move a little slower and savor the moment, to say yes to what makes you happy and no to what doesn't. Imagine waking up each morning with the simple but powerful realization: I am still here. I am still breathing. I still have time to love, to learn, create, to explore, to make this day beautiful. Because that is the greatest gift of all: the ability to wake up and decide that, regardless of what has come before, today is worth living fully. Do not wait for permission to enjoy the life that remains. It is yours to shape, yours to fill with laughter, adventure, peace, and meaning. Your story is still unfolding, and the final chapters, they can be the best ones yet. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.